I did it. I finished Salem's Lot by Stephen King, and I just have to say, this book was everything that I was hoping it would be. I wanted a vampire novel, but with a twist from Stephen King himself. And for that reason, I have to give this book a high rating. It's everything that I hoped it would be. Now, is this Stephen King's best novel? Well, no. I mean, if you've even read, for example, It, you'll know what I'm talking about. But this hit all the marks. I liked the cultural references because this book was written in the 70s at a time where there was no smartphones, right? The occupations that people had were just different. And like there was a milkman, for example. I don't think I'm giving away any spoilers here. That's stuff like that. I wanted an escape. And I thought this book hit all of the marks. So I have to give it a high rating for that. It's only 600 pages. Well, it's 600 pages, but it doesn't look that thick. It's not that thick of a book, but somehow it manages to be over 600 pages. So, and it's not corny. It's not corny. Like some vampire novels out today, it's more romance. Like it's got some of that corniness to it, a love triangle. This has none of that. This is more for teenagers / adults, something for people that want to scare, want to have the creeps. So Salem's Lot, I enjoyed it. If you've ever read the book, you know what I'm talking about. If you've never read this book, please give it a shot. If you want a vampire novel, but you want Stephen King's version, please give this a shot. It wasn't too morbid. It wasn't too bloody. I mean, they had a couple of that, a couple of those scenes in there, or a few of them, but nothing super over the top. There was a scene involving a baby. I won't get into specifics. That was like, wow, he did go there. Like it was so twisted in the head. It wasn't scary. It was just more twisted. Like, wow, this is actually, wow, okay. And we're gonna put this in the pages. But that's what people like about Stephen King is how, twisted he can be. Now, I'm not gonna say this book was even super scary, but it definitely was creepy. And it definitely had these scenes where there's twists and turns and it catches you out of nowhere. I love that. That's what I wanted. That's exactly what I was expecting from this book. And I can tell that it's early Stephen King. This book came out in 75. It was the second book, second big hit right after Carrie. And I love the young Stephen King, or I should say younger Stephen King. I love his style. I love the references to the time. This is also, Stephen King grew up at a time, one of the best times to be alive in America, in my opinion. As a person who's obsessed with the 70s, the 60s and the 70s, the 80s, pulp culture, what a time to be alive. And because, as a person that's 33 right now, a millennial, and I love being a millennial. I love my generation. We got the shit into the stick in terms of, what there is to offer. When back in King's day, the whole world was at your fingertips. I mean, there's just more possibility, more hope, more optimism. They just came out of Vietnam. I'm getting off topic here. But if you've never read Salem's Lot and you're into vampire stuff, give this a shot. It's nothing like Twilight. It is a little bit more like the classic Dracula novel. That's what's cool about that. But the classic Dracula novel is cool in my opinion. It's interesting. I think you'll find this book interesting. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this book. I'm curious to know, without trying to spoil it for everybody else. Just I'm curious to know what you thought of the book, how you would rate it on your Stephen King scale, on a scale of 1 to 77. He's written like 70 to 77 books, which is crazy. I want to know what you thought of the book overall. Let me know in the comments. And if you made it this far, please feel free to subscribe to my channel where I plan on doing more book reviews, television show reviews, and movie reviews. My next book will be nonfiction. It's going to be on a attempted Kennedy assassination. Not the one that actually happened in Dallas, Texas, but one that was supposed to happen potentially in Miami, Florida, I believe. So that should be interesting. It's a nonfiction book on the other potential assassination attempt that Kennedy was involved in. That should be very interesting, and I plan on doing a review on that book as well. I look forward to seeing some of your comments.